All right, so we have seen pen and paper methods, but due to technological improvements, now we have machines. So by now, I mean during the or before Second World War. Okay, so technological advancements replaced pen and paper methods with machines. Enigma is one of the most famous ones, right? If you watch any Second World War movie, you have seen it. So Enigma machine is an electromechanical rotor cipher machine. So people think that it was just created for this war, but actually just before the war, if you could, time travel and walk in the streets of Germany, you will see that on shelves that this machine actually is sold and you could buy it for in banking or commercial sectors. Okay, so it was used in 20th century military and commercial sectors like banking. It generates a polyalphabetic substitution cipher. Cryptography of Enigma by British mathematicians and cryptologists with the initial help of Polish cryptologists actually changed the course of Second World War. So cryptography is really important in this sense because it really affects these kind of big wars. So this is a famous picture from Wikipedia. So as you can see, it is like a keyboard. You are pressing on the letters, right? But when you press a letter, for instance, A, actually it is encrypted depending on the position of the rotors. So the output will be something different than A. So the button you are pressing is the plain text, but the output is the ciphertext, okay? And the rotor position changes from time to time. So so in the movies, maybe you see, for instance, a lot of women sit and a plain text comes in front of them, for instance, a letter. Maybe it is in the ciphertext. So they write the same thing on this keyboard. So the output is the plain text. So they give it to the officer and so on. So how they actually break the Enigma? So idea was really simple. They use a property as a weakness. So the property was a letter is never encrypted to itself. So take an Enigma machine, press the letter A million times. Depending, since this is a polyalphabetic substitution, due to the position of the rotors, the output will be different letter all the time, but never A. So whenever you press A, it doesn't produce A. This is important because, for instance, if you're unlucky, for instance, you write a 6-letter German word, and you're so unlucky that all of the letters goes to itself. So by looking at the ciphertext, you can detect some words. So in order to prevent this, they gave a countermeasure saying that a letter is never mapped to itself. But this is how actually English broke the system. So they captured ciphertext by listening to the, at the border of the towers, they listened to the radio communication and they captured the ciphertext. And since at the time, no war is happening, no battles is going on, they assume that they are reporting something like there is nothing to report, okay? But in German, there's a very special term for this, keine besonderen Ereignisse. We also have similar thing in Turkey, saying that asayiş berkemal. You never use it in practice, in daily life, but in military you use it, right? So this is the same thing. So they thought that when they captured the ciphertext, they assumed that at some point this term actually appears. So what they do is they write the plain text here and write the ciphertext here, for instance, for this position, and they see if the letters matches with the plain text and ciphertext. Here it matches. This means that this cannot be the plain text, right? Because E is never mapped to itself, right? So they change the position one letter and check if they matches and so on. So at this position 2, for instance, there are no letters matching each other. So this means that maybe at this ciphertext, they are really sending this message. So what you do is, in your Enigma machine, you change the rotor position so that this ciphertext will produce these letters. But then you keep writing the remaining parts and see if it makes sense in German. So if it does, this means that you captured the positions of the rotors. Okay, this is how you break it. So Germans constantly modified their machines during the war, and their latest cipher machines eluded Allied cryptologists. Actually, so at the end of the war, most of the new machines weren't broken. But in order to actually break this kind of ciphers, they need a technological advancement because you are making many guesses here, many statistical attempts, right? And you cannot do it by pen and paper. And also they were using some machines to do that, but it also takes time. So they actually led to development of a computer named Colossus computer. So this is the first programmable electronic digital computer developed by British code breakers at Bletchley Park to cryptanalyze Lorentz cipher. Alan Turing's use of probability in cryptanalysis contributed to its design. Optically reads a paper tape, so it doesn't have a storage. It reads the data from the tape, so no memory. Then applies programmable logical functions to the bits of the key and the ciphertext characters, counting how often the function returned false. Destroyed by British after the Second World War, because they realized that the technology now advanced and this knowledge shouldn't go to the hands of enemies, so they destroyed the machine. But it was reconstructed in 2007 and now available in the Bletchley Park in a museum if you want to visit someday. So this is actually the end of the things I'm going to talk about the history. We kind of covered almost everything in a very brief way, but if you're interested, there are nice books explaining this stuff in a more detail. Also, there are some web page you can, practice with this kind of encryption and decryption algorithms.